Hi guys, I'm going to show you how I installed the Biker Pro twin pack to my Yamaha Tricity. The same concept applies to the single camera pack, and please excuse the poor weather as it's currently raining. I've got my front camera mounted underneath the front in between the two forks. As it's a bit further in, the angle of view is narrower as you'll see in the sample video later. However, I'm okay with that. The rear camera was a bit harder as there's no way to mount it on the Tricity, so I've mounted it using a GoPro mount with one of the license plate screws. I've placed the two units inside the helmet compartment. Unfortunately, on a Tricity there's nowhere else to place them. If you've got one unit, you could try beside the fuel tank, but I wouldn't advise this in case of fuel coming into contact with the unit. Or you could try underneath the seat. But for my setup, the only place was sticking them in the helmet compartment. However, this meant I actually had to drill a hole into the bottom of the compartment to feed the cables through. Drilling a hole in your bike isn't really ideal, but I didn't really have another alternative. So I've just covered up that hole with some waterproof silicone. The front HDMI cable is run right through and underneath the bike, right up to the power converter, which I've tied to the frame just underneath the battery. As the rear HDMI cable would be a bit long, I'll be coiling it up and zip tying it underneath the seat, once I'm sure everything's working properly, and make it neat and tidy. The tricky part was connecting the power. The black negative wire can easily be connected to the frame or to the negative terminal on the fuse box's main terminal. However, I initially connected the positive red cable to the fuse box's main terminal. This did turn on the cameras when I turned the bike on, but when I turned the engine off, the cameras kept recording. So I managed to find what's called a double mini blade fuse socket wire tap, which essentially works like a double adapter. So you just feed the red cable through and crimp it in, and now I've got the headlight and Biker Pro both connected to the one fuse socket. And now my cameras turn on when I turn on the engine, and they turn off when I turn the engine off. The app is okay, but I find that it hangs or is a bit too slow, so I prefer to manually copy my video files or alter my settings through the text file on the computer. Here is a sample video showing the quality of the camera, which I think is pretty good. As you can see, as my front camera is further in from the front of the bike, the wide angle of view has been reduced due to both wheels sitting right beside the camera. Bear in mind the time is actually wrong and I can't seem to fix it from the app or the settings file. As the installation was a bit tricky, I hope some of you find this video has been a bit helpful. Any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.